And I mean, I understand why parties are important. I also understand the challenges that they can create. I understand, like, I mean, you have to have cooperation, right? That's what democracy is. You know, if I want, education reform and you want healthcare reform, right? That's good bounds where we can work together and forward both of our concerns and our policies. If we both want, healthcare reform in different ways, okay, I think this is, the right way. You think this is the right way. You sit down, you talk. I mean, a group is generally going to come up with a better product in the end than just an individual, right? There are things that and data points that you have that I don't have. And even if I'm like 90% right on like a really great solution, and I think you're pretty much just wrong, right? There's some good stuff in there. I might be able to find 5% to pull from what you're saying, and we got a couple other people in there. It's like, boom, now we have a really good solution for Americans writ large, and not just, well, this is mine. I said this is the way it should be, so I need to protect this at all costs. It's like, it's not about you and your ego, right? Again, it's about your constituents, and then as a federal representative, it's about the nation as a whole.
On your website, one of the things you've mentioned is transparency. You want to keep the nation's promises. You want to build trust. You want to be more transparent. Right now, one of the biggest issues in the news with transparency is the Epstein files. Do you have any thoughts on, if you were in Congress, what you would be pushing for this?
If I had ultimate say on what would be done, there would be. I mean, honestly, I don't know why there hasn't already been follow up on the files and people arrested and detained. And it makes me sick to my stomach to think that there's got to be well-placed people in both parties that were able to influence the Justice Department across multiple administrations.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that unbelievably troubling. So if I had my say, yeah, there would be a thorough independent review. And maybe that's what we need to do is, assign a special prosecutor to go through, the evidence and all the logs and, okay, they're in the flight logs. Okay, well, where did the flight logs go? Right. I mean, again, I don't know if there's other things that happened on his island other than just horrific acts against children. But my thought is, hey, if you were on a plane to that island, you need to be looked at. It doesn't matter who you are. And I'm sorry, like my party, other party, independent, Canadian, British royalty, whatever, right? Like that's not somebody we should ever support.
Agreed.
And if you root those people out rather than allowing for people to be protected, it makes your group stronger. I mean, it's like law enforcement. I love police officers, very strong advocate, for law enforcement in general across the board. But there are bad cops. And one of the things I've talked to with a lot of police officers, friends of mine, and working with some of the local sheriffs and stuff is, the better it is, the more effective you are at rooting out the bad apples, rather than like, oh, I must protect all police officers, right? The more trust there are for the cops, right? So you're not expending, trust and, political capital and sometimes actual capital to protect somebody who doesn't merit, wearing that uniform anyways. And I'm sure it's a lot easier said than done, and nobody's ever said the opposite of anything. They're always like, yeah, absolutely. But making that happen in practice is obviously a little bit more challenging.